Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness, Saturdays trying to get on here is always seems to be always a challenge, one thing or another, but I am here and I am so glad, so glad, so glad you are here. Let me tell you before we get started, before I say hello to everyone, what the topic of the day is. Oh my gosh, the dogs are going crazy. Whenever they hear my voice and they're in the backyard, they start well, they don't start. Mowgli starts. I may have to change over to my phone because I can't have him out there barking for an hour. Some of you know the problem I've already had with one neighbor. Let me see if I can get on this phone. But the topic of the day is going to be what's the best decision you've ever made and how has it impacted your life? Let me see if I can't get in here. Hold on. Oh, this crazy dog. Okay. Uh Hold on just a second. I'm going to have to go blank for a second. I'm sorry. Let me Can you hear them out there? All right. I'll be right back. Hold on a second. Okay, let's see. Oh, hold on. Okay, can you guys let me know if you guys can hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, put a thumbs up. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm trying to get over to them to quiet them down in the backyard. Okay, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, I'm not getting any thumbs up, so I don't know if you got. Okay, you guys can't hear me. Last night at 3 o'clock in the morning. First, it's really hot in my house because I don't have central air. So last night I let them come outside. I'm really careful about having them out here alone because the coyotes. And there was one in my backyard about a month ago, or not in my backyard, but on my back fence. So I'm very careful about letting them in here. Here's Mowgli. Oh, get down, Mowgli, get down. Mowgli, get down. Oh gosh, Mowgli. Okay, okay. He is and he's influencing titles who would like him. Anyhow, um, doing some work on my back of my house here. But yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. This is life with Mowgli. Life with Mowgli. Let me show you how big he's gotten. Mowgli, come here. Can you see people? Can you see them? Can you see them? He's bigger. He's bigger than Cuddles now. I don't know if you could see that. But anyhow, 3 o'clock in the morning. I let them out earlier because it was so hot. Because they kept going to the door. They wanted to go out. Wanted to go out. So I let them out. Then I went back upstairs to lie down. And all of a sudden, about an hour later, who starts barking up a storm? Mowgli. And who is obligated to join in with him? Cuddles. So, oh my gosh, my gosh. So, um, so I had to get up. So it seems that my life is now, at least for right now, until I can get him under control, is revolving around Mowgli. Because he runs the house. He runs me, he runs Jess, he runs Cuddles, he runs all three of us. So it's quite an experience. But anyhow, let me say hello to everyone. How is, hey, Marta. Yes, I'm going to get back to the best decision of your life and how it has impacted your life. And also, if you'd say a little bit about, when you made that decision, did you expect the impact to be so profound, or was it a surprise? So, first of all, Marta, first person in the house, one of my fabulous moderators, best decision having Jesus in my life. Amen. That is the best decision. But let's go beyond that, because that is I would have to agree, that's number one. So maybe the second best decision for those of you who've already made that decision. Stella Wonders and Wanders say, Marta, I totally agree with you, having Jesus Christ in my life. Yes. Sheila says, hi, Carol, Jess, Pups, and everyone in the afternoon. Yeah. Yeah. Come here, Mo. Come here, Mo. Let me get a first-hand look at. Are you being a good boy, Mo? He's being a good, look at him. He's lying down. Hold on. Are you being a good boy? Are you being a good boy, huh? Yeah? Yes. He's being a good boy. Oh boy, he licked the phone. It's an experience. But who else is in the house? Sheila's here. Yes, who else is in the house? Uh-oh. Hey, Gay Woods, relationship with Christ and becoming a nurse. Becoming a nurse, okay. All right. So how has becoming a nurse impacted your life, and what made it the best decision that you've ever made? Hi, Liza, one of my great moderators and friends. Nora's niece is in the house. Let's see who else. CW Style. Hello, hello, hello. Vaughn, one of my other great moderators, and Nora are here. Oh my goodness. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. Everyone is still saying hello. Well, I'm looking to get some answers. Hey, oh, Patty Wynn, I didn't see you in the house. I didn't see you. Hey, Kenneth, hello, hello. Okay, all right, Kenneth, you went over and over and clicked the like already. Well, thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate that. Deborah, hello, Deborah. Deborah, I haven't seen you too often in here. Have I seen you before? Anyone, if you're new, let me know so we can greet you and give you some love. If you're new, hit it. Let's do that right now. If you're new, do a number, put a number 1, and so we can all give you some love. Hi, Carol. How are you? And Caroline's in the house. Hey, Karen from Melbourne. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're back, Karen. I'm so glad to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Uh, hey, Lindy's in the house. Lindy, I gotta call you. I've been meaning to call you all week and just haven't gotten around to it. But I will call you. Try and call you sometime before the end of this evening if I can. Who else is here? Graham. Graham's here from Australia. Oh boy, here he comes. I'm keeping an eye on this fella. Uh, oh, okay. I think it's safe. I don't see any coyotes around at the moment. Mowgli, can you behave if I go in the house? I left them out here for a few minutes, but what happened was if I put them out here and they don't hear me, they play around, play around. But once I started the live, even with the windows closed and they hear me talking, Mowgli starts barking. Once he hears my voice, he's like, okay, I've been out here on my own for a while. I'm not going to do this. I want my mom back. Come here, Mo. Come here. Be a good boy. Sit down. Can you sit? Can you sit? Can you sit and be a good boy? He says, I can for a couple of minutes, Mom. You're a good boy. You're such a good boy. Yes, you're such a good boy. You turned into such a big boy. I didn't think you were going to be such a big boy. I thought you were going to be a little boy like your mommy, but you're a big boy. He's actually, before I go back to what I was saying, I'm going to tell you something that Mowgli did the other day. It just touched my heart so, because he's usually, like I said, such a heathen to be, such a hooligan, running around, destroying everything in his path. Well, um, I gave him some flea medication, and I guess it impacted him a certain way, or it made him, not so lively. So Cuddles decided to lay down in the backyard, and Mowgli's annoying the dickens out of Cuddles, running around him, jumping on him, doing everything, And Cuddles was lying down, kind of still, and Mowgli came up to him, and he looked at him for a few minutes. And usually he would have been jumping on him, pulling at him, running back and forth with the toy, trying to get able to chase him. And he I don't know what happened. I My internet went dead. So I'm trying to go back now that they've kind of calmed down a little bit. It says try again, something went wrong. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Let me Okay, I'm gonna try it. Okay, I'm back on my phone. What a live. Is this not the craziest live you've ever been in? I don't know. If it's the craziest live you've ever been in, give me a thumbs up and let me know that it is. But anyhow, Mowgli went over to Cuddles and he's nuzzling him gently. Gentle is not Mowgli's state of being, okay? He doesn't know the word gentle, but he gently nuzzled him with his nose, and then he kind of licked his little jaw. It's like he was saying, "Are you all right? Are you okay? Are you all right?" And then he gently, I mean gently, laid down beside him and rested his head against Cuddles. I was like, "Oh, he's got a big old heart inside that goofy body." I was like, "Oh, I was just so touched I wanted to cry because it's like this big gallootin goofy out of control pup became so tender and loving towards Cuddles. And I told Jessica later that day, I said, you know, when when uh Cuddles goes on, because Cuddles is looks to be on his last legs. I said, when Cuddles goes on, I said, Mowgli's really going to be grieving him. I said, he's really, really going to have a hard time because I just was so it gave me hope that there's a lot more to Mowgli than meets the eye, if you know what I mean. So I'm really that I know that sounds crazy that that little gesture and what he did with Cuddles gave me hope, but it did anyhow. It gave me hope. But let me go back to the comments and finish saying hello to everyone, anyone that I've missed saying hello to. If you're still here after all this craziness and madness, uh, I think the last person I said hi to was Lindy. And hey, David, hello, hello. Sunflower, Marcia, hello. My golden doodle runs my house too. Yeah, I've never had a dog run my house before. You know, but anyhow, uh, uh, oh, so you must be talking about, oh, she's loving farm life. That is great. So Lindy has an amazing dog too, who is loving farm life. Oh my goodness. Nora says she lives on a farm. Oh, CW Style said he's growing. He's so cute. What's Cuddles up to? He's a cutie too. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Cuddles, I think, is getting more used to him. He's, you know, more, he's, Cuddles has always been a pretty tolerant dog, though, of almost anything and anyone. So, and he's been that way with Mowgli most of the time, but every once in a while he gets a little fierce with Mowgli because Mowgli crosses the line. Mowgli often crosses the line with him, but Cuddles lets it go, lets it slide most of the time. But every once in a while he has to, you know, speak up and say, no, 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 no. But, uh, so uh, Nora said, I hadn't heard that. Oh, that, yeah, that they're on a farm. Well, go over to Lindy, go over to Lava Lindy and check out, and you'll hear more and more about where she is living and how, because things have changed in van life. You know, people are doing a lot of videos on it, and eventually I probably will whenever I get back. But yeah, van life is not the same as it was 5 years ago. In fact, van life is not the same as it was a year ago. People are having to regroup, and you didn't really. I've always been a planner, so that's nothing new for me. But now people are truly having to plan because you can't just hit the road and go someplace and expect, oh, I'll just find anywhere to boondock overnight and then go on my merry way. It's not that way anymore. And there's a lot of, I guess, hostility, I would say. There's certainly a lot of um, people who are out and out trying to keep people living in vehicles totally out of their community, not just out of the community living in their community, but don't even want you to stop in to their community for a visit overnight. So, but we'll talk about that more maybe on another live. But yeah, van life it is completely changed from what it was when I started out. What, in 2017? Doesn't even look the same. Doesn't even look the same. Uh, Sheila says, never thought what happened. Rob died at 50, but everything is manageable. I'm glad it's manageable. I'm gonna have to do another video of you when we get to courtside, Sheila, because you have had some really interesting experiences
looking for affordable places to live, and some of the decisions that you've made in search of affordable housing. And sometimes you have to go out of your comfort zone and 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 develop a new comfort zone, but that's a whole new video too and a whole new conversation. But I will, CW style, I will say hello to her. uh Lindy said that's where we're staying. Yes, they're staying on a farm. So that is, and I tell you, that is, Lindy is very, very, very fortunate, because a lot of people are having a terrible time finding places to stay, living in a vehicle. Uh, Carol Rivers says, best decision, Alcoholics Anonymous, 1994, still loving it. Wow, Carol, good for you. 94, that's 04, 14, 20, that's over 30 years. Oh my gosh. Wow, wow. That's amazing. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. Jackie McDonald, hi everyone on the road to Reno. Okay, well, I hope that the weather in Reno is going to be beautiful for you there, Jackie. I hope that it you have a wonderful time there. Uh, Lindy says she was so young, so sorry. Uh, Sheila, oh yeah, he was so young. Yeah, yeah, that at our age, at 70, in our 70s and close to 80, 50 seems really like our youth, you know? I think back on when I was 50, and that seems like, I don't know, it seems like I was a spring chicken in my 50s now compared to now, you know? Everyone's saying hello to everyone. And who else is here? Caroline Hannah says, a relationship with Christ and finishing my education. You know, finishing an education can have a tremendous impact on someone's life, especially when it comes to the job market, and especially when it comes to your earnings, which, I don't know that any of us really understood how significant our earnings and possible careers as a young person, and I'm saying young going into our 50s even, how significant that would be, and the impact that would have later on in life on us as seniors. It's unbelievable when you look at a lot of the figures as to what is happening with seniors in this country now. It's just, I look back, I've always been a saver, so I do have some money saved. But if I had it to, that's one of the best decisions I made, but it's not by any means the best. But if I had it to do all over again, I would have saved a whole lot more. Been I was always kind of a penny pincher in many ways. I would have been an even bigger penny pincher if I had known how things were going to turn out. By the time I got to be a senior, if I'd known the huge gap between what things cost and what earnings are, if I'd known about age discrimination going out to try and find a job, and how it used to be employers loved older workers, not anymore. If I'd known how, you know, just the cost of medical, I mean, that alone. And one of the things that's most important, I'd say the four things that are most important, are the biggest expenses rather, are transportation, housing, transportation, food, and medical. I'd say those are four of your big expenses. If you own a home, add taxes and insurance. And insurance, especially if you live in a zone that's fires, or has hurricanes or flooding. Insurance can be. I was looking at some places in what was it they were saying in Florida? Some condos, homeowners, they're like $1,500 a month. $1,500 a month before you even start paying your mortgage. And once the board votes on that, you don't have any control over it. But anyhow, I'm getting off topic. But Yeah, I if I had it to do all over again, I would have saved more, and I would have a lot of things I wouldn't have bought. I would have just put into savings. But what can you 50 hindsight is always 2020. Uh, Graham says, I've been thinking about breeding our mastiff with a poodle and trying to corner the market with mass doodle, massive doodle. So it'll be a mass doodle. They got sheepa doodles. They got bird doodles. They got you name it. They got every kind of doodle there is out there. So hey, Muskegee Land watching. Good to see you. Did you send me any email on your information or your tiny home? I haven't been really good in keeping up with my email this past week. I've got so many, and some of them took a lot of time to follow up on. So if you haven't, do send that if you get a chance, Muskegee Land. If you have, just let me know and I'll go back and try and find it as I'm waiting through all the emails. Thank you, Caroline. Yes, welcome to all newbies. Uh, Jackie says 8 weeks in Oregon had to go. Well, Jackie, there are some places in Oregon that are affordable. If you're looking to be there full time and in a sticks and bricks, but I don't know about in a van or a vehicle, especially around Portland area if you're anywhere near there. Sheila says, yes, Lindy, he was young, but I never expected this. Yeah, I'm sure you didn't, Sheila. Stella says, my best senior life decision is taking up van life. It makes life more affordable. I get to travel and I can follow the weather. Like now, the Oregon coast has the perfect summer weather. Wow, I am so glad this is working out for you, Stella. That's I've talked to I've talked to people now that I've talked to literally I've met with and spoken to literally thousands of van lifers at all different ages. And a lot are happy and it's worked for them, but some are not and it has not worked for them. More of those are people who've had health problems or who have a vehicle that has a lot of maintenance or is a vehicle that's not that reliable. And when you're living in your vehicle and it has mechanical problems, that is stress. That is just a huge stressor. But anyhow, that's another topic too. Kenneth said, I made more bad decisions than good. I've been living, I've been fixing the bad ones. The first one, the first was I quit drinking in 2002. Well, that sounds like you really made a very good decision, Kenneth, for you. And that, I would say, that sounds like that is a huge life altering decision. And good for you. Congratulations, Kenneth. I don't know. I wish I knew how to do those fancy things where people clap, make the sound of clapping. But I'm going to clap. I'm going to clap for both of you all who stopped drinking and have changed your life as a result. Uh, Nora says, hi, Jojo. Where's Jojo? Did I miss Jojo? Hi, Jojo. Sorry if I missed you. Lindy says, Kenneth, you can't afford to drink now. Now, that's a good point. With everything so expensive, you can't. If you go into a restaurant to get like a cocktail, and I don't drink like hard liquor like bourbon or scotch or whiskey, all that stuff. I drink a mixed drink like a gin and tonic or a margarita or something. If you go in to get a frozen margarita or something, you're talking about $18 in many places. $18. That's twice as much as I used to pay for a meal in a restaurant. So yeah. Well, speaking of twice as much, I was looking at some of the Toyota Siennas because they only do hybrids now for the Sienna. Some of those Toyota Siennas, well, I don't think you can find any for under 40,000. But I was looking at someone who paid $52,000 for a new Toyota Sienna. 52,000. Do you frigging believe that? That's more than I paid for my first house. $52,000. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so yeah, probably How did you know? You didn't know when you stopped that it wasn't going to only help you your life in many ways, change your life, but it was also going to really help your pocketbook too, Kenneth. Oh my goodness. Sheila says, Stella, I'm in LaGrange, Oregon. And Sheila is loving that, but we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll do a video on that when we get to Quartzsite, talking about that, Sheila. Um, uh, Lindy says, well, this is when I disappeared. Yeah, my internet went, it said something went wrong, try again. Something went wrong, try again. Yeah, something's gone wrong this whole life, it seems like. But at least yeah, I did disappear. I don't know what happened. Um, uh, Lindy says the dog did it. Hey, that's kind of like, when you're in school and you didn't do your homework. Oh, the dog ate it. Yeah, well, everything for me now will be Mowgli did it. But actually, it will probably be true. Everything I say Mowgli did, it will be Mowgli. But I can see. Have you ever been in a situation that seemed really bad, and all of a sudden it started to look like there was hope that it was going to get better and you were going to find a solution? That's kind of where I'm at right now with Mowgli. I'm seeing little hints of the dog he could be. And it's going to be up to me to see that he becomes that dog. Because if I don't do the right thing, the right training, and get him guided properly, on left to his own devices, he will be unmanageable and I will not be able to keep him. But I can see sparks of the dog he could be, just like when he was so kind and gentle and loving to Cuddles. So I'm like, and then now you saw him, he came over and he actually sat down next to me for a few minutes. That's not something he would have done 2 months ago. He would have been zoom, zoom, drop the tail down, around, zoom, zoom, zoom. So yeah, I can see, I don't know, he's 7 months, so I don't know yet how he's going to turn out. I want to tell you something. Now, I don't want to turn this whole live into Mowgli, but I'll just tell you one more thing. I took him to get a bath yesterday. Now, the first time I bathed him, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to lose my mind. That dog went berserk. It took me and Jessica to hold him in that tub. We took him to one of those, you bathe him yourself. You rent a spot and you bathe him yourself. That way you don't have a mess at your house and you don't have water everywhere. And they provide the shampoo, the towels, everything. They have a blower too, which I don't have. I only have a hair dryer, and that's not going to work. He'll go crazy. But he went nuts. And then when I took him to get groomed, which was with tip and everything, $120. Do you believe that? 120 some dollars. And he needs to get groomed, not just bathed, but groomed every month. So I was like, that's not sustainable. I can't keep that up. So I took him to get a bath yesterday, and I bathed him myself. And I took him to a different place. This place had a much huger tub, and it was deeper. And he sat there quietly. He didn't thrash around like he did before. It was only me, just wasn't there to help me. And he just sat there quietly, let me bathe him. You could tell he didn't like it, especially when I got the water near his face. And then when I got him all rinsed off, he let me dry him. He was not a happy camper. But we got there at about 3 o'clock, between 3 and 3:10. I didn't leave there till about 4:40. It took that long to get him washed and to get him bathed. I had to, to get him dried. It took probably a good 45 minutes to 50 minutes to dry him. And I didn't want to put him in my car wet. And if he's wet and he comes back and gets in the backyard where there's a lot of dirt and stuff, he'd have been muddy. So I had to get him dry. But I think I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to do some tutorials on how to groom him so that I can actually give him his haircuts too. Because I'm not paying $120 some a month. That's not feasible. So I didn't realize it was going to be that expensive. One place I called, they wanted to charge $200, $200 to bathe and give him a haircut. $200. So I was like, well, that's not happening. So I saw in Ross, and I'm going to go back down there after the live is over. I saw they had some dog clippers. I hope they still have them. Oh gosh, I should have got them, but I was not that brave at the time that I saw them. But I'm going to go down there and see if they're still there, and I'm going to go on YouTube University and learn how to cut him myself. But anyhow, yeah. So I can see the dog he could be. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not having the same trepidation that I was having a month ago over him. Everyone's used to we have a problem. Oh, good. Back to the future, Nora. Oh gosh, yeah, you guys are funny. You guys are funny. Uh, uh, Yep, I'm back, back, back. Sheila says I'm about 50 minutes from Pendleton. Well, I don't think most people know where Pendleton is. How far are you from Portland, Sheila? Portland or Bend or even Ashland. I think people kind of know those cities. Um, Vaughn says my best decision is to control my mind and not worry until you actually know you have to worry about something. You know what, Vaughn? That is a fabulous, fabulous decision. You know, I heard someone told me once, why are you worrying in advance? And I thought about it. I thought, that's why am I worrying in advance? I'm suffering. If it happens, I have plenty of time to worry about it. But worrying and doing nothing, worrying when you can't do anything about it is just suffering in advance. And they said, why are you suffering in advance? And it's kind of like, if I have to tell Jess, if I find out, say, 2 weeks in advance that something I have to tell Jessica, and I know it's gonna set her off. I'm like, dumb me. I used to tell her as soon as I found out. No more. I wait and I tell her maybe the day before. So I only have to deal with the fallout for a day instead of 2 weeks. Same thing about worrying, Vaughn. That is probably now when you say you made the decision, did you just one day say that's it? I'm gonna decide, and were you able to just cold turkey? Or have you had to really work on it, Vaughn, to get to that point where you really have been able to consistently do that? I'm interested in hearing that. Uh, Lindy says, I understand the pain of losing your live. Oh yeah, 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 absolutely, Lindy. But it happens to me all the time. It seems. I don't know, but oh well. Yes, yes, Nancy. That is great sound advice. Nora says, I feel like I'm on drugs with this life. Well, you feel like that. Imagine how it feels like if you're actually doing the live, and 1 minute you're here and the dogs start going crazy, and you're like, oh god, here they go. So you got to go outside, calm them down. Then the the thing go drops, and you're trying to get. Then your internet whatever says there's a problem. Try again, and you have to. Yeah, I feel like I'm on drugs too, Nora. So join the club, but. But thank you for hanging in there. I appreciate all my moderators. Oh my goodness. Yeah, everyone's agreeing with what Vaughn said. That was such a profound, a simple but profound thing. Stella says, Sheila, I bet it's a lot warmer where you are. Have you been impacted by smoke this summer? That's one of the things in Oregon. And that's one of the things that has happened in Oregon where the cost of insurance has just skyrocketed. That whole area from just beyond Redding, like in the Shasta area, and all the way up into Oregon. I met a gentleman going through that area on the way to Portland. This has been a couple of years back, and he had a business, a mechanic shop. And I was talking to him, and he said I have to leave. He said I can't afford. He had his shop for 25 years, and he was shutting down shop He said, I've been priced out, not because of my mortgage, because of the cost of insurance. He said, I can no longer afford the insurance on this place and I have to shut down. So that was a couple years ago. That was before some of the fires that have since happened. So, yeah, it's a shame when your insurance is higher than your mortgage. Yeah, so yeah, in that area in the summer, oh yeah, and in the fall even now. Vaughn says, thanks, Nancy. Everyone, Lindy saying, good one, Vaughn. Yeah, absolutely. That is that's some of the best advice I think anyone ever gave me. I'll be honest, I haven't consistently followed it, but it is some of the best advice ever. Uh, Lindy saying, I heard there was flooding in Quartzsite. Really? I haven't really been keeping up with that, but I will check that. Lindy, where was the flooding? Do you know where the flooding was? Was it on the BLM land? Was it in town? Um, was it? Yeah. Could you do you have any more information on that, Lindy? Where the flooding was? Nancy says puppies are going to do puppy stuff. Yeah. We spent a lot of time training our dog because we knew she was going to grow up to be a big girl. Yeah. Right now, Mowgli, when he really wants to go in one direction and he starts pulling, I have a hard time controlling him. And I weighed him yesterday, and he was 40, between, it hovered a little bit because he moved a little bit, but he's between 46 and 47 pounds, and he's at 7 months. So the vet said he may get up to 60, 70 pounds. So I cannot have a 70-pound, strong 70-pound dog who is out of control. So I did not expect him, as all of you know, I've shared this before. I did not expect that he was going to get this big based on his mother, his father, and his grandfather. Did not expect him to be this big, but I guess you know how genetics are. They can skip several generations where you have redhead back 5 generations back, and all of a sudden you have a kid that pops up with red hair. Well, I guess it's the same thing with dogs. You can have a big old dog way back, and then all of a sudden five litters later, or 5 generations later, you've got a big old Galutin hound. Oh my goodness. Yes, Lindy, Cuddles is so, so sweet. Cuddles is like looking at you, Mommy, what do you want me to do? What Cuddles is the dog that looks at you, says, Mom, what can I do to make you happy? And Cuddles is like, let's go, room, room, room. that Mowgli rather is, let's go, room, room. And Cuddles is, let's just make Mommy happy. So I've got two opposite ends of the spectrum. But maybe Mowgli will get. But you know what though, Lindy? Cuddles was never like Mowgli. He was never that wild, rambunctious puppy. The worst thing that Cuddles ever did as a puppy was eat through his, those igloo crates you have for dogs, those houses. He ate through the top of one, and I came home to meet him at the front door. And I thought maybe I didn't have it closed right, but that hard um, plastic, thick plastic, he must have worked on it all day because I was gone that whole day. And when I got home, he met me at the front door. That's the worst thing he ever did as a puppy. And that was just him, wanting to get out. But oh yeah, I can't keep I have to keep my eyes on that one. But we'll see. But like I said, I've seen the signs that there's sweetness in him. So we'll see. Sheila says, Lindy, the temp is 112 or something similar. Whoa, 112? I didn't even know it got that hot in Oregon. That just shows how dumb I am. 100, or how uninformed I should say. 112. That's like Palm Springs. Is it also humid there, Sheila? Ooh. Lindy says 92 here, but a nice breeze. I'll take 92 over 112 any day. Let me see what it is here. Hold on. Let me see what it is here. I'm guessing it's about, yesterday I was over in San Marcos and it was in the 80s there. And that was really hot for me. Let's see where I'm at right now. It is 81, which is hot for me. 81 is out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone, honestly, is 69, 70. That's my comfort zone. Sheila says, I just sent you two videos concerning van life. Oh, to me? Yeah. Oh, it's changing. If you don't change, if you're living in a van and you can't afford to pay campground fees or RV park fees, and you're planning on, sleeping and boondocking, sleeping in your van while you boondock, you're going to have to change how you operate. You just have to change how you operate. You're going to have to become even more stealth, and larger vans are that are obviously RVs. People are finding it's very problematic to park those, because a lot of cities have not just limited overnight parking, they've limited the size of vehicles that can even park during the day on public streets. They're calling it no oversized parking. So if you're over a certain, and they don't just go with, say they say it can't be more than, I don't know, so many inches. They don't just add the height. A lot of them are doing the height plus the length plus the width, and they're combining that to get their total. So that's kicking many vehicles that people live in. Even regular like Chevy Express that has a raised roof, even a raised roof of 6 inches, a lot of those are no longer permitted on the streets because they're beyond the height level. I'm telling you, it's getting very scary out there for people living in vehicles. Um, Nancy says 73 where I am. Now that's more my speed, Nancy. That is more my speed. Jackie says, Sheila, my cousin lives in Portland since 1986 from Simi Valley. Now Simi Valley was pretty hot too. Oh, Pendleton. What did I say? Portland? You know what? Have you ever looked at a word and you just see the first letter, and you just decide what it's going to be? So your cousin lives in Pendleton. Okay. Uh, Pendleton, not Pendleton, Pendleton, since 86. Okay. Well, I guess she must like it, Jackie, if she's been there since 86. Sheila says it's raining. Short shower lasted about 25 minutes. Well, I wonder, did that cool things down or just make it more miserable with the humidity and the heat? Absolutely yes, Carol. Yeah, so humid. Oh my goodness. Hey, Lucretia, I haven't seen you in ages. How are you doing? So glad to see you in here. I know you had some health problems. I hope they've been resolved and you're doing better. Uh, Lucretia's asking, why do I think van life is going through this? I think there are several reasons. I think one is that cities are greedy and counties are greedy. They want the taxes that people have to pay on homes, and I think um, real estate people who own large complexes and people who are in business, if they're losing business to people or they're losing tenants because people are moving, I think they may put pressure on city governments. I think some of it is van life folks themselves have not not all and not even the majority, but you have people who live in RVs or vans who go into communities, dump their trash on the side of the road, or, you know, change, like what happened at the Walmart down the street from me, change their oil in the parking lot and leave a mess, or set up and put a barbecue. That's actually someone did that. Put a barbecue out there with chairs in the Walmart parking lot. So I think you have some bad actors in the van life community who give the rest of us a bad name, or the rest of people living in vans a bad name. And I think also because the more people, the worse the economy gets, the more people are moving into vehicles, and the more people that are moving into vehicles, the more people that you have are bad actors. And yeah, they just have seen, and they don't look at and say, well, the majority of people are decent folks just trying to survive. Just they look at the worst of the worst and cast that net over everyone, and their attitude is we want to keep these people out of our community. I think, and I think a lot of it is just discrimination. um, you can say what you want, but I think that as a country we discriminate against poor people of any race, gender, age. We tend to, as a society, look at people who are poor and think there's something wrong with them, that they're lacking in character, they're lacking in integrity, they just had no whatever. We don't look at maybe what has happened in their lives, but I think that there is an overall disdain for people. And I think some of it is also fear, that people look at people, like when a person, sometimes, I know I'm getting off way off here, but like say when you a person is divorced, and all of a sudden your friends drop off, especially a woman who's divorced, her female friends all of a sudden drop her. It's like they feel like maybe it's contagious and they don't want to catch it, or maybe this will happen to me, or maybe, or they see people who are in dire situations and they don't want to help, and they're afraid someone's going to ask them for help. So it's like, well, let me get them out of the way before they ask me to help. I mean, there's a whole variety of reasons, but I think one of the main reasons, Lucretia, is that as a country we hold people who are poor, we have a tremendous disdain for people who are poor. I don't know how else to put it. I think that would be up at the top of my list. And the feeling is that anyone living in a van or a vehicle is poor, and therefore there's something wrong with them. They have some social ill, or something is wrong with them, and we don't want these kind of people in our community or around our community. And that's what I think it is. If the top five, I would say that's the number one reason. But what do you guys think? Do you think that I'm wrong? Do you think that as a country we don't hold people who are poor, or who are lower socioeconomic? Would you say that we don't hold them, have disdain for them? I mean, if you look at someone who even goes into a business, how they're treated. Say someone goes into a business dressed kind of shabbily, or in a way that suggests that maybe they're poor. Look at the way they're treated, even in a restaurant, even in a department store, how they're treated versus someone who comes in a designer outfit with their hair all coiffed and everything, nails done, and looks like they're very affluent. They're treated very differently. So, I mean, how else do you explain that other than to say that we we disrespect people, we don't honor and respect our elders, and we don't honor or respect people who are poor. That's my opinion, and let me know what you think. Um, but uh, oh, uh, Jackie says, Sheila, you are before Pendleton. You mean going north in Oregon? You come to LaGrange before Pendleton or Pendleton? Anyhow, Jojo says, in Ohio, pouring rain and flooding in Columbus. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow, wow. Sheila says, after Pennington, not far, LaGrange is a great place. Okay. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do miss him every day, Sheila. Vaughn says, Lucretia, I think partly is that people are parking and not leaving, are leaving junk behind. Yeah, yeah. And cities or businesses don't want to deal with it anymore. Yeah, that's a part of it. That is a part of it, definitely. Like I was saying, I think that is a part of it. And it's contributed. It's also contributed to the mindset people are already predisposed to have towards someone who's forced to live in a vehicle. They already have this idea of what kind of people live in vehicles. So when you have people who are living in vehicles leaving junk behind, it just reinforces that, oh, they're low class, oh, they're this, oh, they're that, which nothing could be further from the truth in most cases, but it contributes to that mindset, and it solidifies to many people, yeah, I was right. That, yeah, that's the kind of people who live in a van. No, it's your grandma, it's your sister, it's your aunt, it's your uncle, it's your grandpa. It's everyday people who can no longer afford what should be a basic human right, which is to have shelter. I'm not saying having a mansion, but having decent shelter. But anyhow, I bet you would have, Sheila. I bet you would. Marta is saying, yeah, that's true. Yep, yep. Hi, Diane. How are you? Uh, uh, yep. Everyone is saying that's true. Uh, Muskegee Land, yes, I did. Oh, that's another, Lindy. That's a great point too. Great point. Lindy says HOAs start at $500 on new houses in 55 plus communities, but also HOAs, the, oh my God, the dastardly group of folks sometimes. Also, you got these people from HOAs who go around, so if you're trying to park in a community that has an HOA in it, oh, you forget it. Absolutely forget it. But yeah, so the HOAs in 55. Now, Lindy, are those communities that have pools and like a community center and all those amenities, or that just all of the communities that are 55 are most communities 55 and older? I know my my HOA is I think it's $85 a year. I'm like, why did they even charging me that? Because they don't do anything. We have no pool, no community center, no joint property. It's $85 a year for them walking around and hassling people, But anyhow, but yeah, $500 on new houses. Wow, $500 a month, and that's cheap. That is cheap. There are a lot of HOAs that are a whole lot more than that. Um, oh, Sun and Shore says, and the fact that Social Security is based on your past hourly rate. Yep, and not what those earnings would be today. Yeah. So yeah, that, you know what? That's such a good point. Your Social Security is based on what you earned. So your buying power is based on what the cost of living was when you were earning that money. Not your buying power. Your Social Security is based on what your buying power was when you were earning that. But what you can actually buy with $1965, you know, dollars for cost at 1965, 1975. So if you're 65 today or 70, that means, let's see, 20, so 50 years ago. So if you're 75, that means you were 20 in 19, what, 70? Yeah, about 1969, 70, 71. So from that point to today, you are paid based on what you could buy with that money then, it doesn't even come close to what you could buy with that money. I never thought of it in those terms. I mean, I've always thought of it, Sun and Shore, about the difference in how income increased, your income increased versus how much the cost of living increased. But I didn't think of it in terms of you're being paid in yesterday's dollars, but having to buy things at today's cost. That is such a good way to put it. Thank you for saying that, Sun and Seashore. Yeah, yeah. So your dollars are worth what? Maybe 25 cents on the dollar? Yeah, you're getting paid maybe 25 cents on the dollar compared to what you have to spend. Yeah, think about it. So, with seniors entering into that, but the other thing is, most people, I don't say most, but a lot of people who work for larger corporations and companies had pension plans. The 401k really was the downfall for the financial security of a lot of seniors. The introduction of the 401k. The 401k, as my understanding is, correct me if I'm wrong, the introduction of the 401k was to help companies relieve them of tax burdens and help save them money. But it is gradually evolved into letting companies pull out and get rid of their pension plans and now shifting that responsibility onto individuals. And, let's face it, if you're barely making it, are you going to be putting a lot into a 401? And not everyone, not, I had a 457 at my job. It's a, for government employees, but there was no matching funds. They didn't match funds. They didn't match anything. You just put it in there and it was tax deferred, but there was no matching of funds. So every one of those plans that's set up like that does not have matching funds. So and a lot of people, let me see what percentage of employees participate in a 401, in their 401. What percentage of employees who have a 401k plan at work actually participate? Let's see.
Around 73 to 75% of employees with workplace retirement plans, like 401 kiloseconds, typically participate. This is often
wow.
called
It says 3 to 4%. Three, not percent. 3 out of 3. Okay, let me say it another way. About 75%, it looks like, of people actually are participating now. Now the question is how much they're participating. I don't know, but it's I think that it was to a great extent the downfall, because you have people now retiring that have no pensions. They don't have savings. As the cost of living increased, people had to adjust and pay those extra costs, and that's money that would have gone into savings. So you have so many more people living just on Social Security. At least last I checked, it was at least 40%, maybe more, of seniors live solely on Social Security who are retired. So that that is why so many people are in bad shape. Uh, Vaughn says, "Hi Sheila, thanks. Sometimes there's real nuggets of wisdom flying out of my mouth." Well, that was a real nugget of wisdom, and also what Sun and Seashore said too. Uh, Muskegee Land says, "I need 75 grand to buy the land." Oh, I was thinking you had the land, Muskegee Land. So now, is 75 grand your down payment, or is 75 grand the cost of the land? Interesting. Rock says, uh, no one participates, no one anticipated this chaos. Yeah, most seniors, I would say 90% or more, grossly underestimated the impact inflation would have, because none of us, I mean, none of us had an idea of what was going to happen. And I mean, who would have thought that like I was talking to someone the other day, even the dollar store, the $1.25 store now, or $1.50. Most of the stuff in my store is $1.50 now, but the prices have gone up and you're getting less. I like that. I don't get it too often because it has so much sugar. But what is it? Tiki Punch. They used to be a 6-pack for $1.25. Now it's a 4-pack. So you're the same price or higher prices for less product. So I mean, they're getting you going and coming. They're raising the prices and giving you less. So they're doing a double whammy on cost of the prices. So yeah, you're right, Rux. People just didn't anticipate what was going to happen. Muskogee Land says 1.5 acres. Does it already have water and power to it, Muskogee Land? Or do you have to put in septic and all that kind of stuff? Lava Lindy says, right, son, inflation as well. Yeah, inflation is eating so much into even people who have pensions, but especially people living on Social Security. Hey, Nisi says, greetings from hot and sunny Los Angeles. Well, it's hot and sunny down in San Diego County too, believe it or not, 81 here, and we're coastal 81. So I can't imagine what it's like inland. Donald, my brother, says, I want a Massadoodlegram. Not me. This one I got is big enough. I don't think I could handle a Massadoodle. Although I saw the cutest, they're called Bernedoodles. They're a Bernese mountain dog and a poodle. Oh, they are so cute. But they have a very different temperament from the golden doodles, because golden retrievers are big, goofy goofballs, whereas the Bernese mountain dogs seem to be more sedate, So everyone's saying hi to my brother Donald. Rox says, by the time I get to travel and camp in my van, it'll be illegal everywhere. Well, I'm telling you, I think people are going to need to band together and form political action groups to impact laws. If you don't have influence, you're not going to be able to do anything to change anything. And you're going to have influence and show that you have influence in order to get anything changed. We see the direction it's going in, and you're right, Rox. It's going in that direction. We're not going to be able to camp anywhere except for on campgrounds, and those have gotten so. I have not found a campground. Now, on Hip Camp, you can. You go on Hip Camp, you can find things less expensive. But as far as campgrounds, some state parks you can, especially if you're a senior or something, but regular campgrounds, I haven't found any for less than $40 a night, consistently less than $40 a night. And some are even higher on weekends or during summers. So yeah, $40 a night, that's $1,200 a month. That's what, yeah. So I think people are going to have to band together, political action groups, also go in together buying land to set up places where you can park. I think that's going to be the solution. Lucretia says, Oregon coast here, Florence. It's been awesome. Oh, wow. I have never heard of Florence. I'll have to check that out, Lucretia. Definitely have to check that out. Everyone's saying hi to Nisi. Muskogee Land says, I am so very lucky and blessed to recover from 3 strokes, 5 years sober. Wow, that's a double whammy of good things. 5 years sober and recovering from 3 strokes. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's amazing. Hey, Iris, 3 generations. Hello. Vaughn says, I'm having hot flashes on top. She's having hot flashes on top of the heat. Yeah, this is just unseasonably warm. Um, yeah, like I said, that's why I had the dogs outside last night, and they were because it was only going to get down to 68 degrees, so that was comfortable. But Mowgli, for whatever reason, decided to start barking his fool head off at 3, 4 in the morning, and that put it into that. Um, Rock says, "You all in recovery. Thanks for staying." Yes, yes, yes. Sheila says, "Congratulations, Muskegee Land." Yes, absolutely. Nora says, "I love a Bloody Mary." I love a good ice packed green tea, and I'm going over to Panera as soon as this is over to get it. My free drink. Oh my gosh. Lindy says, "One of my best decisions was my YouTube channel. Never met so many wonderful people. Kindness abounds." Lindy, you stole the words out of my mouth. That's what I was also going to say. I agree. Starting my YouTube decisions, other than my decision to, say yes to Christ, and that was as a child. But yes, starting my YouTube channel at 67 has been one of my, and I've talked about how it's expanded at an age where usually your social circle, where your life gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller till you're almost all alone by yourself. My YouTube channel has caused it to be the exact opposite. My life has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger with the people, wonderful, amazing people in it. Absolutely, Lindy. I could not agree more. That's why I encourage so many people not just to maybe make a little extra money, but also the people, the community, the friendships that you will make. Just amazing, absolutely amazing. Stella says, "I'm lucky that I have free via." Oh yes, whoo! That, I tell you, one of the best decisions a lot of people I know was going into the military and getting VA, because you're out of that medical rat race. Because right now my medical with is about $700 a month. My uh, what do you call it? Your supplemental is 500 and some, Blue Cross or whatever it is, 500 and something a month, and Medicare 200. So yeah, so $700 a month with Medicare. I thought once I got Medicare, I was like, oh, come on, 65, come on, 65. Oh, I can't wait till 65 so I can, be from out from under this medical insurance burden. Well, guess what? 700 and some dollars a month later. Yeah. Yeah. Guess what? For people whose social security is $800 a month, run those numbers. Yeah. Anyhow, she says, "I'm lucky I have free VA and I can use a VA clinic here on the Oregon coast. My doctor was able to send a lab order for me here, and then we go over results on a live chat." Wow. I am so happy for you, Stella. That is wonderful. Uh, Lindy says, "Toyota says they can't compete anymore in the U.S." What do they mean they can't compete anymore in the U.S.? They're charging $50,000 for a new vehicle. So what are they talking about, leaving the U.S. when they say they can't compete? So is that their excuse for having prices that are through the roof? And here's the thing. And I was talking with Sheila about this yesterday. As the cost of, as rather the restrictions on um, larger vehicles parking overnight gets more and more intense, people are going to start looking towards smaller vehicles like SUVs, RVs, even cars, and used cars are going through the roof. I just talked to a friend of mine who's a YouTuber, and her son sells cars, including used cars. And he was telling her that it is not uncommon, and it's very common to have monthly notes on used cars be between $800 and $1,100. Used car vehicle payments, $800 to $1,100 a month. Wrap your brain around that. And as minivans, during COVID, when people wanted to get out more and they were buying used vehicles to camp in, we saw that minivans that used to be $3,000 went up to $8,000, six to 8,000. I'm predicting that those vehicles are going to go up even higher now, even higher. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Um, Maria, hi Maria, is saying is yes, clapping for Muskegee Land being 5 years sober. Vaughn says, I want a margarita and lay in my blow up pool. I have a dog pool that I'm going to put out for that I want put out for the dogs, but I'm thinking of putting it in my front yard and getting in it myself, or filling up my bathtub with cold water and sitting in it. I'm telling you, I am telling you. Oh my goodness, yeah, Vaughn. Oh my goodness. Although I have to make my own margarita, I can't go. I can't afford to go order one at $16. $18, or even if I could, I'm not willing to pay those prices. Nisi says my best decision was becoming a registered nurse 31 years ago, has allowed me to live my best life. I'm grateful to the Lord for guiding my steps. Well, hallelujah. That was who, did you have any idea 31 years ago when you made that decision, Nisi, how much it was going to impact your life now and your future? Isn't it amazing how decisions that we made decades ago can have such a profound, good or bad impact on our life now, decades later? Is that hard to wrap your brain around? Oh my goodness. Sheila said there's always hope in everything. You know what, Sheila? Thank you for saying that. I do want to add that, and I'm going to be getting off of here in a minute. There is always hope in everything, and I want people to hold on to that there are alternative solutions. And sometimes it takes a lot of work to get to them, to find them, but there are alternative solutions. And, um, you know, there is hope. That's what I would mainly like to conclude. Despite all of the things, there is hope. And some of the decisions we made years ago have turned out to be great decisions. Thank the Lord. Uh, Donald saying hi to everyone, including Vaughn. Rock says, I'm keeping my Dodge Grand Caravan till one of us dies. Well, hopefully it's you're not first. Well, hopefully it goes 30 more years on either one of you, keeping it in tip top shape. I don't have $50,000 for a new rig. No, they were talking about the 5 underrated vehicles. There's a YouTube, go on, and it talks about the 5 underrated minivans, and the Dodge Caravan. Certain years was the Kia, I know Kia, Hyundai, but certain years they talked about, and they talked about the Dodge Caravan. So how those vehicles are underrated and how you can get them at a good price still, because they're still underrated. People don't understand what a value they are. So if you have a Dodge Caravan, by all means, keeping it. It might even be worth it if it went out to get it redone, the engine or something. I don't know, but yeah, no. Who has $50,000 for a new rig? That's still. This shows how far back I am. $50,000 in my mind is a house. I just can't, unless I was worth maybe 25 million or more. I couldn't see paying $50,000 at this stage in my life. I mean, maybe when I was working, making a decent salary and had some other income coming in. But over the last couple of years, because of some things that I had set up that were contributing to my income, little by little, some of those have gone away. So now I'm at a fraction of the income that I was making outside of YouTube. And I haven't done any YouTube videos in quite a while. So I really have to be mindful And no, at this stage, as of today, I would not pay $50,000 for a vehicle, a new vehicle. Maria says rather, Nisi, me too. I'm a registered nurse. The best decision I made as well. It allowed me to travel the whole world. I am blessed. I am so happy that those decisions turned out good for you, ladies. I'm so happy. Carol says, if I don't have a place to live by January, I hope to meet you all in Quartzsite. Never been in my car 2 years, 9 months. Well, I hope to meet you in Quartzsite too, Carol. And I think Lindy, we're going to do another meetup in Quartzsite, right? The last one that we did was a big success. We had a wonderful time. So I think we'll be doing another meetup for sure in Quartzsite. If we can't get one organized for this fall, I'm pretty sure we're going to do one in Quartzsite. Um, Lindy says, "Me too. I'm keeping my Chevy van. Glad I bought what I did." Yeah, and when you did, because trying to go and buy that now, it's just yeah, it's crazy. Uh, Karen says, "Will you be returning interviewing people who live in any?" Yes, I will be. I will be. In fact, I have some interviews that I have done, and they've been in there forever, and I just haven't uploaded them because once I start back, I've got to jump in hitting the ground. And I've just enjoyed this vacation. It's like, and actually, it turned out to be perfect timing because I had a lot of other things going on in my personal life that I didn't anticipate that happened. And had I been doing my YouTube channel and that happened, I would not have done either. I would not have navigated either one of them very well. So God knew in advance that I needed to step back because He knew what was coming down the pike. And it was some really, really challenging things, which I'm not going to go into here, but I've had some really challenging personal things, and not working full time on my YouTube channel has given me the time that I needed to address some of those things. So yeah, I will be interviewing people, and I will but definitely by the time I get to Quartzsite, I'll be back in the groove. But I will be back before because they're changing all the rules now on YouTube. I better get back in there and get some videos up. They're gonna kick me out. They've changed a lot. I wish so many people that I had begged to start YouTube channels early on had done it. And if you're going to start one now, because come February, the entry point is changing. So if you're not in it by that time and have met your quotas, you're going to have 8,000 watch hours. And I forget how many subscribers, and I don't know all the particulars, but they're making it a lot more difficult to become monetized. So if you have ever wanted to do a YouTube channel or ever thinking of doing one, you better do it now. Do it. I'm not saying you can't accomplish it afterwards, but it's going to be twice as difficult. So if you're going to start one, now's the time. Um, Vaughn says, Nisi, I heard that downtown LA has a rat infestation that is spreading some diseases around town. I hadn't heard that, Vaughn's, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Rock says, I took my dog to the car wash, dog wash. The car, so they have a car dog wash? That's funny. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I wish you would record that, Rox, next time you do that. Oh my gosh. Record doing that. Maybe I'll have Jess record next time I take Mowgli to the dog wash. Oh my goodness. Uh, yes, Vaughn says, Carol R., come on. We'll be waiting for you. Absolutely, we will be. We definitely. Nora says, doodle fur is very dense, takes a long time to draw. Yeah, it certainly did. By the time I got through standing up, I wanted to go ask the people in Petco, do you have a chair I can sit down in? But I didn't see any chairs around. But my back was hurting, my arms were hurting, my neck was hurting. I was hurting all over by the time I finished getting that dog. And as I was going out, one of the ladies from the place where they do the grooming, I asked her, I said, how on earth do you do more than one dog a day? Because they do about 4 or 5 dogs a day, each groomer. And I was like, oh my God. They're like from early in the morning till 7 at night. I was like, I appreciate what they go through. Oh my words. Whoo. Rock says, I'm getting my suspension replaced next week. Hey, take care of it. Take care of it to make it last. Maria says, buy your own electric dog grooming shaver. Yeah. I saw one. I actually saw two that were at Ross. I just keeping my fingers crossed. I'm gonna go back over there, and I'm hoping they're still there. I should have bought them then, but it said that it only went down to half an inch, and I wanted an inch. But you know what? I'll take what I can get, because they're at Ross, they're really cheap, really cheap. I should have got it, but yeah, I'm going to buy my own and do it myself. Absolutely. Martin says, not true, Lindy. Toyota is doing great. Oh, Toyota announces $3.6 billion expansion, 2,000 new jobs at San Antonio plant. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know either way, but I know they're certainly charging a lot for their vehicles. And that's what I know. Marta says, Vaughn says, Martin, I think they're shipping the cars to other countries. Oh, wow. So maybe they mean they can't compete. They don't mean they can't compete job wise. Maybe they mean that, Martin, that they can't compete selling their products and they're moving them to other countries. I don't know. I don't know. But I know, you certainly have cars that are less than 50,000, but it's hard to find. I looked at Honda Civic. I bought my Honda Civic in 2009. It was 15 out the door. I think it was 15,000. Then I got a rebate or something on it because it was when they had Obama had the clunker, turn in your clunker or whatever they called it. Now that same LX, which is not a great upgrade, it just has power windows. That's all. It's, I think it's 30,000. That doesn't include destination delivery fees, license, taxes. So you're talking at least 33,000 out the door for a Honda Civic. A Honda Civic. Yeah, I was like, wow. Yeah. So that's crazy. Oh, okay. Sheila says she's 250 miles to Portland. Okay. Carol says, I'm on the Central Coast now, going to Pollock Pines in September. All right. Well, we will be in Quartzsite, especially during the RTR time, and maybe even during the women's RTR. Yeah, Rox, don't borrow trouble, definitely. Lava says, you are correct. They have an infestation of them. It's bad. Oh. Well, they're going to have a whole lot worse. If you have miles, I don't know about miles, but blocks and blocks and blocks of people and trash and human waste and everything else, you're going to have rats, you're going to have everything, and you're going to have an outbreak of hepatitis is what you're going to have. You're going to have all kinds of stuff, Jackie says, no sticks and bricks for me. I'm not living in Oregon. Okay to visit. Okay, Jackie. Carol says, how to not worry. Realize this could be the last day of your life. Self-care, humor, health, help another. Helping another. Now that certainly does get your mind off your own self. I would agree. Everyone's saying hola. Rog says, I'm taking care of my mom, so I can't travel at all now. And I hate where we live. I'm so sorry, Rox, but God is going to bless you for looking after and honoring your mom by taking care of her. You have a blessing truly, and I'm just praying that it's 10, 100-fold times blessing for you doing that. Lindy saying, really, Martin, she saw a different one. But you guys may be talking about two different things. One may be talking about jobs, like Martin was talking about they're hiring for jobs, and Lindy may be talking about the products that they're selling. Maybe those products are going somewhere else into other countries. So both things could possibly be true. Sheila says, I'm not too far from Idaho. Okay. Hey, Susie. Hello, hello. All right. Lindy says, no, someone was asking me about flooding and I didn't know anything about it. Okay. I'll have to check into that. I haven't heard anything about flooding, but I keep up with all the quartzsite news. I haven't done that in several months. So I'll have to check into that. Vaughn said, Carol, I realized when I had a mammogram and doctor said we found something, we need to look closer in 5 days. I stressed out for 5 days at the what if and realized how ridiculous I was being. Yeah, I think our mind, Vaughns, when we get a little speck of news, our mind goes to the worst possible outcome. I think we've been in many ways conditioned to do that by the news, always hearing bad news. How many times do you hear about someone carrying an old lady's groceries or paying for someone's groceries in the store? No, every time you look on the news, you hear about someone getting mugged, someone taking someone out, someone, you hear so much negative that your mind is programmed to expect negative. So that transfers over to our personal life, where not only do we expect negative in society, we take it down to our personal level and we expect negative in our personal level. We are programmed and we have to fight against that programming. It's a hard, tough fight, but we really have to fight against it and we have to be intentional and consciously do it. But anyhow, Stella says there was some flooding in Q Town. Some people lost power. This guy I know was driving when a brick wall gave in from flooding and nearly took his truck down. Wow. Oh my goodness. So I'd never heard of flooding in Quartzsite, so that's new. I'll have to check it out. Rock said I rescued a 70 nut job desert dog that someone abandoned 2 years, a 70 pound. Oh wow, wow. Well, they say people who have dogs live longer, so maybe this dog is going to extend your life. You never know. Marty says flooding was 6 days ago, 3 inches in an hour. They washed out roads. Okay, and RVs had to be dug out of the mud. Oh, wow, wow. Well, I'm glad none of us were there. Thank goodness none of us were there during that time. Patty says, I used to do kids' haircuts, husbands' haircuts, spaniel haircuts. I learned from a book. Having YouTube back then would have really helped out. Yes, yes, it would have. Lindy saying, thanks, Estelle. Well, folks, I am getting off of uh, I am getting off of this right now. I've got to go. I've got to go check out and see if they've got those clippers at Ross. And maybe I'll video when I do cut him for the first time. Well, not cut. Hopefully, I won't cut him. When I give him a haircut, let me put it like that. Whoo, no, I don't want to cut him. When I give him for a haircut for the first time, maybe I will video that and let you guys see it. I think I'll do it out in a park somewhere using one of my power stations. We'll see. We'll see. I'll have to do that. All right. Okay, guys. I am going. Oh, I know I'm going to miss all these comments that I really want to see. Oh, my goodness. David said it's 106 where he is. Yeah, that would be too hot for me. The Muskegee Land says the poor are criminalized. As I'm going down to the end, I'm just rushing through some. Yeah, the poor are criminalized. Yeah, poor people are criminalized and are yeah, yes. And I'll tell you something. From what I've heard, people who stand on a corner, like you see people with a can asking for money at stoplights and stuff. People who do that in poorer communities are given more than people who do it in wealthy communities. Yes. That tells me that people who are wealthy look down on people who are poor, a lot of them, not all, but a lot, and have the attitude, well, I can do it. Why couldn't you? Well, because you had a lot more opportunities than perhaps that person did. Maybe you came from parents who were able to pay for your education. Maybe you came from parents who were able to put a down payment on a house for you. Maybe you came from parents who had connections who were able to help you get a good job. But people don't look at all the help they got. They just look at other people and look down upon them, and criminalize being poor. But don't get me, because once I get started on this topic, I could go forever. But anyhow, all right. Yes, Gary, cruelty has become the new normal in many, many ways. Carol says maybe people fear us because they want to believe it cannot happen to them. Yes, I absolutely. They want to believe that it's us, and they look down on us because it would never be me. They want to put the distance between them and us to say that that's only you over there. It can't come over here and touch me. Absolutely, I agree, Carol. Absolutely. I'm just going down to the bottom of the comments as I'm saying goodbye. As I was brushing down, I just happened to see a few. Man, she said, I would like to know what changed, because my understanding is during the Depression and maybe through the 60s, poor people weren't looked in such a negative one. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Well, I think possibly in the Depression, everyone was going through it. You have people, stock workers, jumping out skyscraper windows. So I think everyone was going through it. So people had more empathy because they were dealing with it too. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I really don't know. That would be an interesting thing to look into, to see what the sociological impact was that caused people to have this mindset now. Vaughn says, I think we need to have a middle ground between coddle and condemn. Absolutely, somewhere in the middle. And I believe the system is set up to keep people poor. But that's a whole nother thing. I could go on that too. But I think the system is set up that once you get in the system and are receiving benefits, it's set up to keep you there and penalize you if you do a little bit better, rather than giving you a leg up and helping you move up and out of the system. It's set up to keep you poor and trapped, and it results in generational poverty. Great grandmother, grandmother, mother, children, grandchildren. We have generational poverty that has been established and promoted in this country, in my opinion. But I agree, Vaughn. I absolutely agree. Muskegee Land says, I was mistaken for homeless until I turned around in nice clothes. Then the story changes. Isn't that something? Isn't that something, how people change once they think you have something? Oh my gosh. And Maria says, most of the people dressed to the designer clothes have thousands and thousands of dollars charged up on their credit cards. Isn't that the truth? So many of them are living paycheck to paycheck with the debt collectors running behind them. Is that the truth? Oh, yes. Maria says, I learned a while back that instead of buying a Louis Vuitton, why don't just use the money and go to Paris, France? And I did. Yes, experiences are so much worth it. All right. Yeah. When did Vaughn said, Nancy, right? When did people start assuming that all homeless were lazy? Yes, that's the thing, that people assume that poor people are lazy. That is so wrong. It's so incorrect. Oh my gosh, it's so wrong. Lucretia says, true on treatment. Went to a restaurant with son and son-in-law the night they just paid $600,000 for a house. None of us looked particularly good, and we were treated very poorly. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Wow. Muskegee Land says, with our level of technology and we can't help everyone, that's not socialism. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Maria says, rocks, good for you. That was smart. Took me a while, but I came around. Health, safety, and welfare. Yep. Hey, Possum Stops. Hello. All right, folks. I keep saying I'm going to go, and I know I've missed a lot of comments because I was actually going down to the end to say something, and then I just happen to keep as I'm passing by, I'm passing things. Rock says I had a hard time dressing for my corporate job because I had to be comfortable. Yeah, but we know that you're treated a certain way based on how you present. If you present like you're more middle class, people will treat you differently. It's crazy. I remember I went into a store, and I have to admit I looked like something the cat had just drug in. It was late at night. I went in late. I was looking for some cough store. It was like a convenience store or something. And I went in. I'm looking at walking up and down the aisles, and I'm just kind of looking, and I look kind of like a bum. And the guy, as I'm going out the store, I couldn't believe it. The guy came in and he goes, "Ma'am, did you forget to pay for something?" I said, "No." Are you sure you didn't forget? I'm like, what are you talking about? He thought that me going up and down the stores, even though he didn't see me take anything, he thought and then I left without buying anything because they didn't have what I wanted. And so then he's the other guy saw the other guy signal him because they had looked at the tape and saw that I didn't. He goes, "Oh, well, you can leave now." I said, "No, no, no, no. I can't leave now. You need to apologize because you came out here, you accused me." He goes, "I just asked you." I said, "Don't play this crap with me." I said, and he was like a, almost a teenager, barely out of his teens. I really let him have it. I said, "You know what? You need to, just because I look like this doesn't mean that you don't treat me with respect." But yeah, I didn't look like a bum. Because I looked like a bum, he assumed I went in the store to steal something. And this wasn't that long ago. Yeah, late at night sometimes I do look like a bum if I go out. But I was highly upset, highly upset. And I thought, what about people who have to look a certain way because they can't do better, and that's how they get treated every day? I wanted to take him and just shake him, but I didn't. But anyhow, um, uh, Rock said they didn't respect people. They didn't expect people to live long enough to collect Social Security. Yeah, they really didn't expect this many people to live this long compared to how long people left when Social Security was started to how long people are living now. Yeah, you're right, Rox. Good point. Good point. Lindy says, I made $1.25 on my first job. Pension plans go away with bankruptcies and no security. Yep. Yeah, I made $1.65 on my, well, actually, I made, I think, 25 cents on my first job. It was giving piano lessons when I was in elementary school or junior high. But my first real job, I made $1.65 an hour. Yeah, Lindy. And I moved into my own apartment. Well, I had a roommate, but we comfortably, and it was a nice and an elegant luxury building. We were living high, or we thought we were. Yeah, on $1.65 an hour. Yeah. Can you imagine? You could make minimum wage and pay your rent, buy groceries. Yeah. I wanted to buy a car, so I got a part-time job in the evenings. But yeah, isn't that something? Oh, Rock said I had to cash in my 401k and later my pension. Wow, I'm sorry, Rox. Oh, wow. That's if their company has a 401k. That's right. A lot of companies don't have a 401. All right. Well, I am getting off of here. I know I'm going down, skipping dozens and dozens and dozens. Uh, I just see, hey, Letha, I didn't see you earlier. Says narcissists love to criminalize poverty because they're driven by obtaining admiration from others. So everything in life is about status hierarchy for them. They feel pure contempt for lowest state or low status. That's true. Very true. All right, folks, I am getting out of here. If it's your first time in the house, could you put a number one and say hello? Let me know. I think I turned off all the ads on here. So no one should have been getting ads. I did it a couple weeks ago. I think it's still working. I'm not going in changing it because I don't want to mess anything up. But hopefully, and no one has been complaining about having a lot of ads. So I'm guessing they're no longer on there. All right. Sylvie says, Rocks, yes, so much work to be poor. I had 5 low-paying jobs at one time, and then my car insurance and other things are more expensive because the zip code I live in. Yeah, yeah. All right, anyone number one? Oh, Chris. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the house. You guys know how we do it. Say hello to Chris. Welcome, Chris, in the house. Thank you for being here. Come back next week. And hopefully, I won't have such a crazy life next week with kicking myself off, the dog's going crazy, all kinds of madness. So I got to go out there and make sure they haven't done anything because I have to watch them. But who else? Anyone else first time in the house? Everyone saying hello to Chris. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yay, yes. Come back. We love our newbies and our new globies. All right. Thank you everyone for welcoming Chris. We are a community and every person is a member of this community and we love each and every one of you. Thank you. Love to Mowgli, Cuddles, and Jess too. Thanks. All right, folks. I am out of here. Love each and every one of you, and I will see you next week. Have a blessed week, and may your journeys be filled with joy and blessings all week long. See you until next week. Bye bye.